Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. President John Mahama has assured that his administration will champion policies that will propel the growth sector to lead, especially the agricultural sector, to lead the country's development. Speaking at the Independence Square after he was sworn in as Ghana's next president, Mahama also reiterated that the government's 24-hour economic policy will make the agricultural sector an integral part of the country's development.
Hinges on the introduction and implementation of a 24-hour economy. We envisage an innovative and vibrant 24-hour Ghanaian economy, which will also be anchored in agriculture and agribusiness. This innovative approach would unlock potentials that have long remained dormant, enabling us to harness the energy and creativity of all our people. Just imagine a Ghana where our markets are alive and bustling at all hours of the day, with responsive public services accessible at all times, such that businesses can operate flexibly to meet the diverse demands that they are subjected to. And young people, including entrepreneurs, can find opportunities regardless of traditional institutions. The 24-hour economy model will also bolster job creation for the young people, stimulate local industry, and attract foreign investments, and allow us to build resilient communities and a sustainable future. This vision extends beyond mere economic transactions. It symbolizes empowerment, the empowerment of every Ghanaian to contribute to our national progress. My fellow citizens, this vision will allow us to embrace diversity, to cater to varied lifestyles and preferences, and foster a culture of inclusion, ensure that every citizen can enjoy the fruits of his hard work. To the business leaders and entrepreneurs, I invite you to support this new model and join me in shaping a business environment where creativity thrives and where the fruits of your investment contribute to the collective welfare of our nation. Your role in driving our economy forward cannot be overstated. Your innovation and dedication will be a backbone of our success story. And I pledge to you that we would look at the tax regime and rationalize them so that they are more transparent and fair. Members of the business community, I assure you, Ghana is open for business again.
Now, the business community is expecting the John Mahama government to formulate policies aimed at stabilizing the economy and dealing with concerns of public expenditure. This is according to the auditing and professional services firm, KPMG, as a new government takes office. Speaking to Joy Business, senior country partner for KPMG Ghana, Anthony Sapon, underscored the importance of economic stability to investors.
People are looking for the leadership of this government to be able to stabilize the economy. It's so essential. If you don't stabilize the economy, then what businesses and individuals will do will not amount to the needed hope that they have placed in this government. And therefore, I would expect that government will look at expenditure management, fiscal discipline, particularly as we are in the regime of IMF program, to make sure that we are living within our means and make sure that expenditure is controlled. Secondly, we need to focus on revenue enhancement and mobilization. We continue to have within our sub-region among the low in terms of tax to GDP ratio, and therefore an expansion or deepening of the tax net. I do recognize the new government has signaled abolishing some of what we call nuisance taxes. But besides that, I believe that there are also good replacement for non-tax revenues that government can really look at, and that will make up some of the mixes. So if government is able to be efficient in tax and other non-tax revenue mobilization, then it will have sufficient funding to be able to implement the policies that it intends to do. And lastly, to keep an eye on our debt management. We need to ensure that our debt management become a focal point of what government will do, and ensure that the journey that we have started, we can bring our debt to GDP ratio down instead of allowing it to go, because if it flip out again, that will be critically a dangerous position for Ghana to be in.
Moving on, finance professor at Andrews University, Williams Prepa, says the new government must enhance the property tax to help rake in more revenue. According to him, the new government's plans to remove some taxes, such as the e-levy and betting tax, will pose a threat to revenue mobilization, hence the need to aggressively find alternatives to generate more revenue.
So remember, this first quarter budget was done by the previous government. So they still did the budget based on their strategy, which is a little bit in line with the IMF program. I'm sure the government in the first quarter will have to review that budget, and they may have to align some of the expenditure items. I'm sure we are still not going to have 120 ministers, so that section of the expenses will have to be relooked at. Also, in terms of, there's one line item that the previous government wanted to make sure that we get revenue from, which they failed, which is the property tax. If the e-levy and Govt taxes are going to be abolished, the alternative for government is to make sure that they ensure that the property tax regime is enhanced. And that one alone, I'm sure there are a lot of studies that have been done that they say that that one alone can give us almost about 2 to 3% of our GDP, revenue to GDP. So that portion will be able to make up for any shortfall that may arise going forward. So the property tax regime must be ensured that comes into force. And to me, when these are done, it's going to be able to ensure that that deficit that we are talking about will be reduced significantly. So the business environment have suffered from two main angles. One, instability in the exchange rate regime, and two, unfriendly tax administration. We know that the business community though they complain about the issue of exchange rate, the direct one that they see, that they think that they can manage, is that our tax administration is not friendly enough. So the current government, this government must make sure that the tax policies, as he's talking about tax rationalization, they must make our tax administration very friendly to the business people. And I'm sure the business community, once the tax administration is very friendly, the tax structures have been aligned, and those that has to be removed has been removed. Specifically, like for example, VAT, we pay tax on tax. Mm-hmm. That must be realigned. It shouldn't be in that line. And when you're able to do this, it's going to make sure that the business community will open up and business will flow. And the government wants to focus on the 24-hour economy. Mm-hmm. This can be achieved when there is the tax environment is very friendly. So for me, the tax administration point must be friendly. The taxman must not be seen as an enemy to businesses, but must be seen to enhance production. And that is the way to go about it.
Now, away from that, government will end the first quarter of this year spending 24 billion cedis, more than revenue projected to be mobilized for the period. This was captured in the 2025 mini-budget presented to Parliament last Friday. Here's more from George Wiafi.
This is the budget deficit on cash basis that the incoming administration will record at the end of March this year. This is because it is hoping to raise about 42 billion Ghana cedis at the end of the first quarter of this year, compared to 66 billion Ghana cedis that is hoping to spend for the first 3 months of this year. For instance, the development may raise some questions about whether it might be prudent for the incoming administration to go ahead and remove some taxes. For the full year, government may lose more than 6 billion Ghana cedis if it goes ahead to remove the e-levy and the COVID-19 tax. This actually excludes the betting tax and other levies that the income administration is trying to remove. Domestic tax will be the highest contributor to total revenue the first 3 months of this year, bringing in 41 billion Ghana cedis for the first quarter of 2025.
Some commercial banks have expressed optimism of a strong sector despite the change of government. According to Managing Director of Republic Bank, Benjamin Jobuku, more effort should be put into reducing risks and improving key areas to support the growth of the local economy. He spoke to Joy Business at the signing of an MOU between Republic Bank PLC and the Liberian Bank for Development and Investment.
Agreement includes providing technical support to the staff of the Liberian Bank of Development and Investment to enhance their skill set. The move will also support the bank to achieve some growth in its mortgage portfolio.
It's a technical service agreement with Liberia Bank of Development and Investment. The purpose of this technical service agreement is to provide technical support to the staff of LBDI. They want to achieve some level of growth in their mortgage. And therefore, Republic Bank Ghana, if it comes to mortgage, we have the expertise.
Speaking on the progress made by the bank, he said the bank will continue on its positive trajectory going into 2025.
I believe by the 3rd month of this year, you see Republic Bank results. I think we had a good year last year, and therefore we expect our results to be great. I believe we'll be hovering over 9.5 billion in total asset, moving from 6 billion last year. We expect our profit to be over 200 million. Starting from 145 million last year. And therefore, we achieved a great result last year. We expect this year, even though we have a new government, we believe that if you have the skill set, no matter how big the economic fundamentals, you need to have the plans to be able to meet the external factors. So far as your internal factors are solid and strong, you don't need to be worried about whatever that will happen in the economy.
President of the Liberian Bank of Development and Investment, Dr. Christian Allison, explained further the rationale behind the partnership.
Well, for the very simple fact that we took over an institution last year, LBDI, that had gone through a series of issues with respect to its performance and its operational issues. We needed to put the bank back on the path of progress. And one of the ways to do it, like the MD just suggested, is to ensure that your internal processes are second to none. And the most effective way of doing that is to ensure that your people have the capacity to deliver. So looking around the sub-region, we engaged with Republic Bank, recognizing their strength in certain key areas that we could benefit from. So we sought this collaboration. We sought the collaboration out, and they were gracious enough to accept it. So we're trying to create a synergy whereby we can tap in on their expertise, on their knowledge, and have that expertise and knowledge transferred to our people so that they can be better able to serve, like he said, our stakeholders. And that's just the basic goal behind this entire thing.
Republic Bank PLC is optimistic to deepen its operations in the micro, small, and medium sectors to support the growth of the local economy.
The World Bank has revealed that Ghana placed 9th on the list of African countries with manufacturing output value in 2023. The following report has more. According to the report, Ghana came 9th among 10 countries with manufacturing output value of $8.6 billion. Egypt came in the first place with $59.6 billion, followed by Nigeria in the second position with $55.5 billion. South Africa came in the third position with manufacturing output value of $48.8 billion. Morocco in the fourth place with $20.5 billion. Algeria at the fifth with $18.3 $11.7 billion. DR Congo at 6th position with $11.9 billion. Ivory Coast at the 7th position with $11.8 billion. And Kenya with $8.9 billion in the 8th position. Uganda came in the 10th position with $7.7 billion manufacturing output value. Now, moving away from that, the price of LPG is expected to go up by some 3% per kilogram. This has been influenced by the rising prices of products on the international market. Speaking to Joy Business, Vice Chairman of LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi, is positive the stabilization of the cedi could help reduce the impact of these increases to consumers.
3%. Well, if we are lucky and our suppliers, the BDCs, are magnanimous enough and take off that expected percentage increase and give that to us as our new year bonus, then we are going to see a very stable price. But if they decide to pass on the increase to us, we also have no other option than to pass it on to our cherished consumers. So it depends on how the BDCs also react to the upsurge in price of the finished products that we are seeing in the market. But even when you also check for the price of the next window beginning 16, the indications are already out and it's also showing a positive sign. So we are likely to see some increase in the price of LPG going forward. We are hoping that the incoming administration will work quickly to stabilize the cedi. The international price of the product, we have very little control. But if the cedi is able to stabilize and even appreciate against the dollar, that will knock off any potential negative effect that international price of the product is likely to have on the product locally.
We have more business news for you after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Prime Business. Now to more news. The Vice Chairman of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Govt, Clement Boateng, has urged banks and financial institutions to reschedule their financial obligations to traders at the Katamanto market. He made the appeal during a donation ceremony to support the market reconstruction effort.
Following the devastating fire outbreak that destroyed numerous businesses at the Katamanto market in Accra, Ghana Union of Traders Association, Govt, has donated 40,000 Ghana cedis to aid reconstruction efforts. During the donation, Govt's first Vice Chairman, Clement Boateng, appealed to financial institutions to consider easing the financial obligations of affected traders. He also called on the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to collaborate with Govt and allocate some of the monies collected from traders towards insurance packages to provide support during such crises.
I will also take this opportunity to appeal to the banks, because I know that there are a lot of people here who have taken some facilities from the bank. So I want to make an appeal to all the financial institutions that our members have taken facility from to please reschedule their facility arrangement so that the time that they are supposed to repay the facility will be extended for them to have a bit of respite. Having said that, I will again appeal to the district, metropolitan and municipal assemblies to sit down with Govt and consider an amount that we are paying for the business operating permit. That amount should be set aside to sign on to an insurance package so that in times like this, our people will not be found wanting.
The Director of Communications for Govt, Joseph Paddy, echoed the call for government's involvement. He urged the government to partner with the private sector to establish a well-structured market system to enhance trading activities across the nation.
But all that we're telling government is that let government come and collaborate with the people, because over some period of years now, we have not had well-structured markets in the country. Almost all the markets we have are made by the indigenous, that's the customary market. We have only few local markets, like the Carnation one, like 31 market, few local markets. About 70% of our markets are customary markets. So this is a time government to collaborate with the private sector so that we can build more structured, well-structured markets for Ghanaians to trade.
Helen Nakai Ayes report read to you.
That's all for all the business updates here on Prime Business. But before we go, you visit myjoyonline.com/business for more news bulletin. You go to our first page, consistent debt repayment to improve Ghana's rating status, default extremely low. Bank of Ghana injected $2.8 billion into forex market between the August and December 2024. We have more of such stories on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Winston Taki. Thanks for watching. Sports is next.